video. Today we are starting with transport planning, and so far so good with us. We're looking at traffic survey this morning. We'll be looking at traffic survey this morning, and then hopefully we go into other topics because we need to cover as much as we possibly can. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're looking at traffic survey this morning, and when we hear the word traffic survey, what should come to our mind is information gathering. So traffic survey is about gathering information that regards or that have to do with with traffic. So gathering information on the flow of vehicles, okay, at a given time, at a specified time, is what we call traffic survey. Okay, gathering information regarding the flow of vehicles, all right, at a given time, and we can also add in a particular location, okay, is what we call traffic survey. Remember, I said gathering information, and this information is with regards to the flow of vehicles, all right, at a given time and at a particular location. That is what we call traffic survey. Now, I'll give you just one or two brain teasers that will make us see the importance of traffic survey. Please listen to my story well while I allow you digest it and give me answers. Case number one, we all are at a location and we are to take record or information of the characteristics of the traffic in that location. And while we were trying to record, or while we were recording this information, we discovered that when we put our records together, we discovered that we had about 600 trucks carrying trucks and tankers carrying sand, gravel, and then water. And then we had just 12 private vehicles, and we had 20 private vehicles, and then we had 12 commercial buses when we put all our records together. So all the times we counted all the vehicles that passed that road, and in that period of time we're there, we had 600 trucks and tankers, everything 600. But we had 20 private vehicles. And then we had uh, uh, 12 commercial vehicles. Looking at that scenario or that case, can anyone tell me what that land area, what is the major land use of that area that we are? From what we recorded, what do you think the land is majorly being used for, the area is majorly being used for?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go on.
Your line was actually breaking, but I noted that you mentioned about 600 trucks with tankers. The other portion I didn't get it right, but 12 cars as well. There's
Okay,
water.
I said that the first case study is that we all are in an area where we need to take traffic information, traffic survey. And then while we were counting the vehicles coming in and leaving that area, we discovered, while we put our results together, we discovered that we had 600 trucks, both the ones carrying water, carrying sand, carrying gravel and all that, 600 trucks and tankers. And then we had 20 private vehicles and then 12 commercial vehicles. Does that give us any information regarding what the land is being used for, what the area is being used for? That's the question. So can anybody try? Tell us from the information we have, what is the land or the area being used for? We call it land use. What is
Good
it being used?
morning. Good morning, sir.
Go on, Collins.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. From the data collected, I can deduce that maybe construction work is ongoing, or possibly an industry that produces like maybe electric poles, some other products that is related to prefab materials, but it's mainly related to construction going on. Or
Thank
maybe
you.
a bridge, construction of a bridge or road, construction of building or structures is ongoing in that area.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yes, that's a good one. Any other person?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
From my observation, at that very particular time, the road is being used by heavy load trucks. Maybe it's due to construction, but that very moment, the road is being used by heavy load truck, and that is it might lead to that of traffic.
Thank you. A good observation. Yes, any other person?
Yeah, I feel it's like a real estate development going on in that area with that statistics from my own perspective. Thank you.
All right. Yes, we all have said, spoken well, and we've said things that are close to each other, and they are all close to or related to construction. Now, that's the first assignment on that case. The second assignment on that case is, what will you advise the government to do in that area with the information you have? What do you think we can advise the government to do in that area based on what we have noticed?
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
I think obviously there is a perception of possible traffic in such an area. So the advice to the government would be, as I perceive, expansion of roads in that place so that the lanes will be divided accordingly to reduce traffic possible.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much. Any other person?
In addition to that, I will also suggest that road signs should be much more improved, should be also incorporated in all that will be put in place in that area.
Beautiful.
Maybe some road signs that have gone bad, they can be improved, road signs and all the rest.
That's beautiful.
In addition to that,
Mhm.
I think maybe government can advise them to reduce the workforce during the daytime. Maybe they can do more of the work during the night. It will also help.
Thank you. Kebiru, you're saying that they should do more of the work during the night in a country where they don't have light. How do you think they'll do that? How do you think they will do that?
It's also another challenge.
Okay, so as another challenge. So while we are trying to solve one challenge, we can be entertaining other challenges. But that's okay. Those things are very good. Now, what we have just tried to do, I hope others that have not spoken are following. What I've tried to do is to see the importance of traffic survey. Number one, we are able to deduce the land use of an area when we take traffic, when we survey the traffic, when we get information regarding the traffic. For that area, like you all said, for us to have 600 trucks, it simply shows that that place predominantly has to do with construction, springing up of new buildings, or there's a construction company there, or there is a manufacturing company that manufactures construction, um, 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 products. Okay, like we mentioned. Okay, prefer products. Good, and then um, another thing is that there is little what is it called now? Residential. There is a little residential use of land in that area. We only got 20 private vehicles, and those may apparently be vehicles of even those working with the constructions. Okay, so it is not yet uh a residential area. Okay, it's not yet a residential area. So we got all those things correctly. Now, from what we have said what we can advise the government. Yes, improve on the road because we have heavy duty vehicles coming in and out. We need stronger roads. We need wider roads. We need improved signs, and we need to do things to ensure that because the road is going to be prone to traffic. Okay, we need to do things to ensure that the road isn't prone to traffic. Thank you very much. So when we gather information regarding the flow of vehicles in a given area and at a specific time, we call that traffic survey. But then we will not be able to conclude traffic survey definition without adding what we use the information for. All right. And so this information will be used to provide key inputs on decision. Okay, key inputs to the decision on planning, this or on planning, design, and operations of the transport system. So gathering information regarding the flow of vehicles at a particular place at a given time, okay, uh, uh, to provide, okay, uh, inputs or to help, okay, or to help the decision on planning, designs, and operations of the transport system. I hope that makes a bit of sense to us. Now, transport information or traffic survey can be gathered either automatically or physically. Either automatically or by humans. Okay, so we can gather it automatically by using machines, different kinds of machines, as we'll see as we go on. We can also gather it by using people. Like I said, we went out in my case study, that we went out and then we took count of the trucks coming in. We took count of the private vehicles. We took count of all the forms of vehicles, and we only saw three major vehicles: the heavy-duty trucks, the private vehicles, and the commercial buses. Now, one of the things we should also notice is that because of the number of commercial buses that were coming into that area, we know there is no market in the area, okay? There is no major market. Does anybody agree with me?
Yes, yes,
Good. It doesn't look like
yes.
there's a major market in the area. We feel that the commercial vehicles just brought those working in the constructions, and then the private vehicles equally did the same. So there's no major market there. Now, we just use what we have. Imagine just having the information we have, just numbers on paper, and we are able to say these things because of the numbers we have on paper. So you imagine that traffic survey is just, people just see it as tally numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they cross it with the fifth one. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks, and then they cross it with the fifth one. Yes, they are tally numbers, but then they pass a lot. They are numbers that speak so much words for those that understand their use. All right. Now, when we say uh, how traffic information, you know, are gathered, we said they can be gathered automatically and they can be gathered by humans, by people. Now, let's see some types of traffic survey. We have the vehicle weight survey. Now, listen, just like the name implies, just describe, remember, survey, when we talk about traffic survey, is gathering information. Then the name of the survey tells you what we are gathering information about. I hope that makes sense. So when we say vehicle weight survey, we are gathering information regarding what?
The weight of the vehicle
The weight
and
of the vehicle.
the
Thank you.
capacity.
The
Yeah,
capacity of the vehicle.
we're gathering information regarding the capacity, the weight of the vehicle. You understand? And you know, there's sometimes if you go through some of those our old dismantled toll gates, you will see by the size the way bridges. You'll see by the side weigh bridges and all that, and then you can weigh vehicles and determine their weight or their capacity. So gathering information regarding the weight of vehicle, okay, is what we call vehicle weight survey. What can that help us do? What can that information help us do?
So
Yes, go on.
the information can help us to be able to know the kind of strength of a bridge in case there is a water logged area or a river by the side that the road must cross. Be able to know the capacity of the carrying weight of that bridge to be able to carry every kind of load that the vehicle might carry to pass.
Thank you very much. And that is apt. Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, I agree with what you have said. There's no need to further push it. I believe we understand. Vehicle weight survey is gathering information, collecting data regarding the weight of vehicle at a particular time, on a particular road. And like John said, it helps us to, uh, uh, properly decide on the structural designs of bridges, the weight they must carry, and all that. Now, number 2 is the spot speed survey. Spot speed surveys. Okay. Now, if you look at this one now, it is measuring or gathering information regarding the speed of the vehicle. Okay, regarding the speed of the vehicle at a particular point in time. Okay, on a particular road. Also, remember, we have the time, we have the road space at that time. So gathering information regarding the speed of the vehicle. Sometimes you're driving and somebody tells you you are overspeeding. All right. Sometimes there are machines that can detect you overspeeding. Sometimes people can detect you overspeeding. Sometimes you're running the normal speed on a particular road and another vehicle just passes you, and before you know, you can't see the vehicle again. There is no gainsaying the fact that vehicle is overspeeding because you are on a normal speed. Imagine you're a policeman, or you're an highway um, 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 uh, enforcement agent, and you're driving on a normal speed on the road, and somebody passes you with such speed, overtakes you, and disappears because of the way the person is running. You can actually chase after and flag such a person down. You're overspeeding. You understand? So when we discover this thing, when we measure or gather information regarding the speed of vehicles, we're talking about spot speed surveys. Now, things that this can help us do, you know, uh, information like this can help us improve traffic management and decide or determine the relevant control devices that must be in place on roads. We must also be looking at uh, uh, speed limiters like road bumps and all that. We could look at the appropriate signal settings, road mappings, and all that just by the information we have gathered. Also, to know if we should put the pedestrian crossing on the road or across, maybe have a pedestrian bridge. Everything can be decided by understanding the kind of speed that vehicles are always, on a particular road. Journey speed, travel time, and delay survey. Now, this is just gathering information about the speed of a journey. Okay, the speed of, to calculate the speed, you must know the exact time of travel and know the contribution of delays in that time of travel. For instance, you're traveling from Lagos to Abuja, and it usually would be 7 hours. Today, you're traveling to Lagos and from Lagos to Abuja, and it is taking you 12 to 15 hours. Okay, now calculating such journey speed is gathering information regarding the time of travel, okay, and determining the speed of the journey by having delay factors also imputed, okay. These information will help us identify the causes and locations of traffic congestion and then measure the before and after effects of road improvements and road or traffic management. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir. We follow.
Good, thank you. Now there is cordon and screen line surveys. Cordon and screen line surveys. Now, cordon and screen line surveys are like test case surveys where a local area, okay, is mapped out. A local area is mapped out and used for a case, like a case study, okay, to determine how traffic flow could be in such areas. For instance, you have a Mushin in Lagos, which is very well populated. And then you go there to say, okay, want to see how traffic response or how traffic behaves in this area. And then we plant ourselves in different areas of Mushin. And we say, okay, let's take the traffic, see the number of vehicles and the types of vehicles that go in and out, see how regular and all that for the next 1 hour, and then we can come and put our records together. What we will discover in such area could be replicated in every other overpopulated area in Lagos, for instance. So a cordon and screen line survey is uh, uh, like an experiment that provides a picture of a local traffic movement that can be built by one or more assignments or determination of traffic in the area. So please take this, that cordon and screen line survey is like an experimentation, okay, of traffic behavior in an area, which can then be reproduced or replicated in other areas. All right. The next one is parking user surveys. Parking user surveys. And this is gathering information regarding the parking of vehicles. Now, many people may not consider that parking is an important issue in transport. But if you live in Lagos or Abuja or some of these populated cities of the country, you will discover that parking is one of the biggest issues in transport. And because of that, many organizations have to buy additional parking spaces outside their buildings for their staff to park. Many have to pay private parking areas for their staff to park. Many people are paying for their own parking themselves. Supermarkets and all that are um uh, are putting duration on the time you have to park. So parking is becoming a very critical issue in transport today. Okay, so when we say parking user surveys, we're talking about gathering information regarding uh, uh, parking information in a particular area, and such information will help us understand uh, uh, or formulate essential parking policies and effective management of parking spaces. Now, we come to the automatic recording device. Remember, we said there are two types of ways we can gather this information. Number one, it can be done automatically. Number two, it can be done by humans. And I took us on a case study where we did it as humans. I said, okay, we went out, stayed on a particular road in an area, and we had to record the vehicles that come into the area and that leave the area. And we'll put up or put our records together. We discovered that there were 600 trucks, okay, but there were just 12 commercial vehicles and 20 private vehicles. And that gave us all we started with today. We were able to bring out information, bring out advice to the government and all that just by just the record we have. That is when it is done by humans, where trained survey staff are used to carry out um, uh, traffic survey. But then there are instances where automatic recording devices are put in place. Okay. Now, when we talk about automatic recording devices, we say they consist of one or more sensors. In a literal layman's term, a sensor is any chip, okay, that senses, whether it senses movement, whether it senses light or whatever, that's a sensor. Then a recording device, okay? So something senses and something records. A chip senses and a chip records, okay? So let's look at some of the most popular types of automatic recording devices. The first one is called the pneumatic tubes. Now, you do not need to worry yourself, so much about what are these, where are they from, and all that. Just follow through. We're going to just make some very, very salient differences between each of them. And hopefully you might use the differences to know which one is which. Okay. We have the pneumatic tubes, first of all. And we say these pneumatic tubes are fixed across. Now, check number one, where they are fixed. Number two, what happens to them, okay, before their sensor senses anything. And number three, how the information comes or how they gather the information finally. So pneumatic tubes, these are fixed across the surface of the carriageway and are momentarily squashed, okay? So when they are fixed on the surface of the carriageway, imagine you have a road and we fix this, we just place it on the surface of the carriageway, all right? And then when they are momentarily squashed by the wheels of vehicles, when vehicles go across them, what happens? That squashing of them causes a pulse of air to be sent to an air switch and then to the recording device. So it is on the surface of the carriageway. A tire crosses it, maybe a vehicle crosses it and squashes it. That sends a pulse of air to the switch, okay? And then from there to the recording device. Now, can anybody tell me uh, what information we can use this particular one to get, this particular pneumatic tubes? What do you think, what kind of information do you think we can use it to gather when it comes to traffic survey?
We can use it to get the amount of vehicles that actually cross.
Yes, the
And
number of vehicles that cross, right?
also can also use it to get the weight.
We can use it to also get the weight of each vehicle. Thank you very much. That's correct. Now let's go.
Maybe
Go
speed
on,
also.
Colin.
Speed also. The speed.
The speed, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
The speed of the vehicle.
Yeah, actually, that's correct. Now, the next one is the noisy cable. The noisy cable is also fixed across the surface of the carriageway, just like the pneumatic tubes, fixed across the surface of the carriageway. But this time, the noisy cables contain concentric cores, which generate or vary an electric current when squashed by a vehicle's wheel. The pneumatic tube is fixed across the surface of the carriageway, but generates a pulse of air when squashed. Okay, but then the noisy cable also fixed across the carriageway, but generates an electric current when squashed. Do you understand? I remember this electric current goes from the sensor then to the recording device. I hope that is clear. I'm just trying to point out the difference as much as I can. The next one is the inductive loop. Now, the inductive loop is buried below the surface of the carriageway. The first two, pneumatic and noisy, the pneumatic tubes and then the noisy cables, they are put across the surface of the carriageway. But then the inductive loops is buried below the surface of the carriageway. All right. And then and energized with a low voltage of a magnetic field detector mounted in uh uh small housing in the surface of the carriageway that can detect the electromagnetic disturbance caused by proximity of large metal objects such as vehicles. Now listen, inductive loop is buried below the surface of the carriageway, and then it is energized. It has magnetic field detector that is mounted within it, okay? And this detector is able to do what? To detect electromagnetic disturbance, caused by proximity. That means while you are approaching it, the closer you get to it, the more it is able to detect you. Now, I know we all have gone to the airport or some places where as you approach the door opens up, okay? The door opens up as you approach, but you don't see anything. Nothing is, you didn't jump anything, you didn't cross anything. But as you approach the door opens up. All right, and then you go in, and while you're coming out, the door also opens up for you to come out without you touching it. All right, there are inductive loops buried across the surface of the carriageway, and then the magnetic field detectors mounted in them is able to detect disturbances by any mass, whether a human mass or by a large, by metal objects such as vehicles and all that. And I hope that is clear. With that, we're able to still gather information, and I'm not asking which kind of information anymore because I know we can, from the first answer, we can deduce the kind of information we gather with all these ones. Lastly, we have the automatic, okay, not lastly, then we still have one more. Then we have the automatic number plate recognition. Automatic number plate recognition. Now, this is just well, it's self-explanatory, where there is always a camera at every, maybe a toll gate or traffic light. There's a camera that is able to pick the number of a vehicle automatically and picks every number of every vehicle automatically, and is able to, from the number, you can get the engine, chassis, get the color, get the make, get when it was produced, get the information of the current owner, even to the bank details of the current owner. I hope you know that from the number plate of a vehicle, you can get all the information about the registered owner or the new owner if the vehicle has been transferred. All right. So with that, we are able to get number of vehicles that have crossed an area, type of vehicles that cross the area, weight of the vehicles that cross the area, and all that. Okay, just by automatic number plate recognition. Lastly, we have the photoelectric beams. Photoelectric beams. Now, this is where a passing vehicle interrupts the transmission of beam across a carriageway. Now, I'm sure you have seen these infrared lights before. Infrared lights, and you see that sometimes they just put those beams across, and anytime that beam, anytime it is broken by a body or broken by an object, there could be an alarm. There could be an alarm. There could be uh anything, maybe whatever response we want to get. Okay, so what we're doing is here is that these photoelectric beams have they can detect moving objects that cause disturbance in their area. Okay, so if it's vehicles, if we put them for vehicles, now it can check and let us know the kind of mass that has come into its area. Okay, it can even give us weight and all that if we properly are set. But then photoelectric beams are like transmission of beams across the carriageway. And I want you to cast your mind to beams, just like these infrared rays. It can be blue, it can be red, and all that are used to, sometimes used to protect certain treasures. So in case anybody wants to read the treasure, once you come, once you break the beam, then there is a feedback to those that have set it. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm having serious cold. That's why I'm managing to speak. So please bear with me.
Yes, well, sir.
Thank you. Now, can we ask questions? Are there questions from what we've gone through so far from the traffic survey? Any question? I assume everything is clear.
It's clear, but just more clarification on these pneumatic loops, tubes. I think you also mentioned that number of vehicles can be detected by pneumatic loops.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you said that when a wheel passes from it, that it detects.
no,
And some other vehicles have like 20 wheels. Others have just 4.
yes.
So I'm just trying to
Yes,
see
now,
how.
yeah, it's most of the time the vehicle, the tube, okay, has been programmed. Now, for the vehicles that have 4 wheels, okay, we understand that the weight, the weight of the first wheel is, or of the first kind of force you get, could be added to the weight of the, that's going into science, of the other wheel when it squashes, and then we're able to say, okay, this is this kind of vehicle. You understand? And then we understand that it is not the closeness between one vehicle and another can never be the same as the closeness between the 8 wheels of one particular truck. I don't know if you understand me. No matter how close vehicles are, no
Yes,
matter
yes,
how close, how jammed they are in traffic, you understand, their
yes, sir.
closeness will still not be the same as one vehicle, the arrangement of a vehicle's tires or wheels. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're able to, from there, looking at the time that these things came on, looking at the succession, looking at the addition of the weight, what it amounts to, can make us know exactly if this is a vehicle of 4 wheels, 6 wheels, 8 wheels, and so on. Do you understand?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Any other question, please?
Yes, please go to the manual method before the automatic.
We
But
don't
that
put any manual. We just explained the manual as to be carried out by staff, right? What do you mean by manual? Are you saying types of
yeah, well, the vehicle with no down.
I guess maybe he's trying to say, instead of saying the trained staff, can we simply say manual as we have automatic?
That's not what he's trying to say. I'm not sure, but yes, we can say manual instead of saying automatic. So it's either automatic or manual, but manual is carried out by trained staff. Do you understand? By humans. In this case, human beings go to stand on the road. You understand? And I did that in our first case study. I hope it is very clear.
Yeah.
I did that with our first case study, and I hope that was very clear. Okay, to say that we all went out to carry out a survey, all right? And then we calculated at the end of the day, when we put all our records together, we got 600 and all that. That's being carried out by manual, by us as humans. We didn't leave it to machines. Is it clear now? So that's the human aspect of it. Then it can also be carried out by machines. So human aspect of it, we've just discussed by that case study. Austin, does that make sense, please?
Yes, it does.
So if there's any other question apart from that, it's fine. You can ask. Any question, please? We want to move to another topic.
Thank you very much, sir. This is a cordon and string line survey.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's a kind of experimental survey.
Mm-hmm.
Is it related to maybe a particular kind of car, or I don't
So it's more related to areas.
Okay.
It's more related to areas, you understand? Even if we know that it will be vehicles that will take past the areas, but it's more related to areas. Like I said, okay, for let's take for instance, you have an area that you feel is just developing.
Okay.
With the rate of development, you feel that in a few years it will be like Mushin or a very overpopulated area. Do you understand? Then you can do a kind of prototype survey of an area of such nature, okay, and see what you will do in that area, or all the suggestions you can suggest to government, and then bring all those suggestions to bear in this new area, waiting for the population to explode. Do you understand? It is like being proactive rather than reactive. That is one way you can look at cordon and screen line survey.
Can we say modeling? Modeling.
Of course, yeah. I use prototype. You understand?
Okay.
So yes, yeah, you can model an already established area and try to implement the
In a
things that are
new.
there, and then the suggestions you would have given for the future, implement it in a new area, waiting for the population to get there. So they already have answers before they came.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, any other question, please? We want to move on to the next topic. Okay, let's go on now to the national objective for transport. National objectives for transport. This slide doesn't look like the slides I use normally, but then let's go. Okay. National objectives for transport. Now, when we say national objectives, we're looking at at the national level, at the federal level, okay, which is supposed to be at the country representation level, what should be, okay, the objectives, what should be the reason for having a transport system. So we're looking at the objectives of transport. Objectives, why transport is developed and designed. Objectives, why there should be, why do you think a country should have a national transport plan, and what should be contained, what should be covered in that plan? That's what we're looking at today. Nigeria, for instance, now has a national transport plan. It's no more a draft. Okay. Now, what should be contained? What should the plan look at holistically? How many areas should it cover? We want to look at the 5 areas that a national transport plan should cover, And that's why we call it the National Objectives for Transport. Now, the National Objective for Transport should cut across these 5 areas. Number 1, environment. Number 2, economy. Number 3, safety. Number 4, accessibility. And number 5, integration. Environment is the first one. Remember, we're saying that every national transport plan must have the following 5 objectives, must cover the following 5 areas. The first one is the environment. One of the objectives of transport must be to cover, to protect the environment, whether it is the built environment or the natural environment. Whether it is the built environment or the natural environment. Now, the environment normally should be protected. In what way? How do we protect the environment? How do we preserve the environment to ensure that while we use it, the generation yet unborn can also have something to use when they come? Now, if you look at that, the diagrams you have before you, you would see that there is a summary of how this can be done. Remember that the environment consideration is about preserving and protecting the built and the natural environment. The built environment are the roads, the houses, everything we've built, you know. Then the natural environment will be the sky, the air, okay, the ground, the ozone layer and all that. How do we ensure that this environment is preserved and protected so that we use it well and then still allow that there will be opportunity for the next generation or generations unborn to also see and use the same thing? Number 1, we can do all those by tackling congestions on our roads. Can anybody tell me how tackling congestion can lead to the building or the preservation of the environment? Anybody?
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, when there is congestion, there is a lot of pressure on even the area, even on land. So assuming that you even have bridges or gutters, or maybe pedestrian crossings, but they are being overused just because of congestions, they may not last to the period that was being specified why it was in construction view. So that can cause some more harm in the nearest future.
Thank you.
Tackling congestion can help in improving the environment, especially in carbon print production. When more cars or vehicles are in a particular place congested, when a particular place is congested, there will be more vehicles to burn hydrocarbon compounds, thereby releasing more carbon to the environment. Pollution will be much. So the environment becomes vulnerable in such situation. So trying to reduce the congestion, it's a way of also improving the environment by reducing the number of vehicles, that is decongesting the road of vehicles.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Those are very, very correct. Now, I hope we listened while they were talking. Now, we're saying that the environmental consideration in the national objective of transport is preserving and promoting a healthy environment. All right. And then we're saying to do this, we have to tackle congestion, and brilliantly spoken by those that have spoken. When you tackle congestion, traffic congestion, it simply means you have reduced the number of emissions in a particular area, which should have affected the air quality, all right, which could have also affected the ground. Do you understand? Which should also or could have also affected the ozone. You have been able to uh, 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 scatter, such negative kind of consequences. Promoting lower carbon transport is also part of what we have said. When we promote lower carbon transport, like people are now moving from fossil fuel transport to what? To electric transport, okay, water transport, and all that. All right. Because now with that, now there'll be less emissions in the air. And then these less emissions will not be too bad or not be too adverse, on the ozone layer and all that. Apart from that, also as part of the bid to preserve and promote a healthy environment, which is supposed to be a very key objective of transport, what happens? Uh, we can promote walking and cycling, okay, or introduce, car sharing and all that, like we've discussed previously in this class, So when we promote, how can promotion of walking and cycling help to preserve the environment? Anybody? How do you think promotion of walking and cycling can help to preserve the environment and deliver on that objective of on that national objective of transport, the environment?
Yes,
Okay.
use of low or non-carbon, or let me say e green mode of transport, which is walking and use of bicycle or no energy consuming means of transportation. It will help to improve the environment because they don't emit carbon pollutants to the environment. It helps to improve the air quality, as you rightly said earlier. So this is a way of also helping everybody, a form of exercise to improve our health also. It improves human health. Cycling, for instance, it helps in exercise, not like our normal way of sitting, how do I put it now? Sitting from point to the other like that. But with cycling and walking, every human feels exercise. You are just routinely doing your normal exercise. So it helps to improve the health quality of the population and also the environment as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more in addition,
Yeah.
we earlier mentioned something when we were talking about a heavy traffic laden on the road concerning trucks and all that, that there should be a suggestion of expansion of road. But in this case, there might not be need for expanding roads when people have reduced the usage of cars and they're using leg and also cycling. And in this wise, the effect of maybe destruction of houses and other trees that could have happened in the course of expanding the road may not be. So we'll have a preservation of environment as well.
Beautifully
I
said,
also,
John.
yeah,
Yeah, go on.
okay,
I'll attend to John. Yeah.
I also think you don't talk about the environment without mentioning, just like Colin said, the human environment, the effect of it. So when you have less carbon emissions, automatically you have a very greener environment. And walking and cycling is also a health initiative in the sense that people tend to be more healthier when they jump off their vehicles and use legs and cycling as another means of transportation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Very correct. Now, yeah, I'm happy we are able to relate with these. And remember, these are supposed to be key objectives of every national transport plan. Number one, preservation of the environment. Collins mentioned something, and he said there may not be need for the expansion of the roads because we have people jumping off their vehicles um, and using maybe embracing cycling and walking. That may be correct, but I'm telling you that will be a ground for serious arguments because most developed countries that have embraced walking and cycling are better when it comes to road infrastructure. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
They are far better when it comes to road infrastructure, and all that. So I think even if we have majority of the population embracing cycling and walking, expansion of roads, provision of roads, interconnectivity of the roads is a
Really.
mandatory thing that must happen with or from or by the government of the day.
Exactly.
You understand?
Good
So
morning. Yeah, good morning.
yeah, Franklin, go on.
Hello, sir. Yeah, I wanted to say something with regards, like an addition to what you're saying. Apart from walking and cycling, I also believe that the usage of electric vehicles too can help preserve the environment. And if everyone keys into that, like everybody decides to stop using IC vehicles and start
Yeah.
using EVs, there will just still be need for expansion of
For the road, yeah.
roads and all that. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's just what I want to say.
Absolutely. So yes, good points, Collins, and all of us. Please, it's beautiful. The class is keeping me very well. I'm not even feeling that I'm not well. I would have been looking for an excuse to run away, but you all have kept me here, and that's beautiful. So it's fine to know that, yes, like today, we say the Third Mainland Bridge, for instance, those of you in Lagos, the Third Mainland Bridge is usually congested. Usually there's always traffic, whether on the morning peak or evening peak. And then I want to create a fourth mainland bridge. I like to bet you see that when they create the fourth mainland bridge, there'll be congestion on the third and the fourth mainland bridge just very soon. You understand? The reason is there is always a relationship between the availability of road infrastructure and the need to use vehicles. Do you understand? So, like Franklin said, if we're even embracing lower carbon transport, they will still be on the road. So that's a beautiful one, Collins, and I'm happy it gave us room to dig further down. So that is the environment objective. Remember, there are 5 objectives, 5 national objectives for transport. And when we say national objective of transport, we're talking about 5 areas that a national transport plan must cover. Number 1 is environment. So if you look at your own national transport plan and it doesn't cover these 5 things, then it is not yet a transport plan. Or if it doesn't cover all the 5, it is not yet a transport plan. It could cover the 5 and then add some more in different ways, which will still be related to these 5 in any way. The second thing is the economy. A good transport plan should have the ability of stimulating the economy. Stimulating the economy and keep economic activities going, thereby contributing to the growth of the economy. We talk about GDP, and we say transport should be one of the greatest contributors of GDP to every economy. And if you Google now, as you're seated, if you Google contributions of transport to the GDPs of economies across the world, you will see that transport in some countries singularly contribute maybe the highest GDP. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. Why? Because we've not developed or concentrated on transport as much as we should. We have left transport and relegated transport to the background, thinking it is a field to be run by, I don't want to use the word that just came to my head, but it's a field to be run by non-professionals. In our own native parlance, we say agberos. And because we've relegated transport to that level, we are also not getting the best from transport. 60% of the revenue transport brings goes to the hand of some people. And these people are in turn worshipped in the country. This entire revenue from transport should go into the coffers of the government. But a few people, with the connivance of those in power, have hijacked this part of our lives, the transport part of our lives, and so we do not have any deliverable, or we do not have so much appreciable deliverables from transport. But remember that the second objective of transport is stimulating the economy, keeping economic activities going, promoting economic activities, and then contributing, to the GDP of the country. And look at one way we can do that, as stated there. It says by encouraging sustainable local travels. Encouraging sustainable local travel. Can anybody explain how this relates to everything I have said under economy? How does encouraging sustainable local travel relate to stimulating the economy, growing the economy, contributing to the GDP and all that? Anybody?
Yes, sir. If, for instance, it were not actually handed over to maybe agberos in quotes and forwarding to maybe particular private pockets, the government might make the transport very, very fair to the citizens, and this will make a lot of people to travel with ease, and that will rather generate a lot of money as a revenue to the government.
Thank you very much. Yeah, any other one? Any other person?
Yes, so for me, I feel encouraging sustainable local travels, like rural areas, some hard to reach places. At least it should be affordable, something that each and everyone should not see as too much expensive for them to utilize. It shouldn't be something that should be too sophisticated also for them to handle and manage. It should be easy for everyone to be able to afford, and also somehow that's the way I feel it should be. Encouraging sustainable local, something sustainable, something that can easily be be used by the locals.
Absolutely. You both are correct. And I want to add to this and say, when we say sustainable, we're talking about staying for a long time. Okay? Sustainable is remaining for a long time. So when we talk about the ease of travel, when we talk about the economics of travel and all that, we say this should remain for a long time. Now let's take local travel, not to just go to, we'll take it to rural areas, but let's start from the developed areas, the city areas. Your travel, your commuting from your home to your office is a local travel. Okay? If every day you're supposed to be at the office by 8 o'clock, traffic keeps you till 10:30 before you get to the office. And then you get to the office, you ease and ease and ease and ease and ease and try to relieve the stress of the traffic of the road till 12:30. And then you only contribute 3 hours work to your organization and you have closed. Transport has not helped you to be very, very productive. Does that make sense? Is it clear to anyone, please?
Yes,
Very
yes.
clear.
Yeah, so transport can make a man to be less productive. That's number one. Transport can also make a man to be very productive. You are supposed to be at work by 8. You know, from your house to your office is 30 minutes, and you leave 7:30. At 8, you are at work. Or you leave 7:20, at 10 to 8, you're at work. And then you are able to relax, set your desk and all that, and then start work at 8. You know, you are fresh, you are steaming, you are, ready to give, and then you contribute your quota, knowing full well that there is no punctuation of traffic in your mind when you are walking. Ah, which that person will close today? Oh, this traffic again. Which that won't come reach house today? Those things don't come to your mind. You know that going back home, you will always get home in good time. You understand? You have that confidence. It makes you productive. It makes your day fruitful. It makes your contribution healthy and productive. Do you understand? That's for the city travels. We've said the opposite, the negative and the positive. What about transport of goods? You are transporting, you are transporting medicine that a group of persons should take. Group of persons should take at the other end of the city because they've just been hit by a pandemic and you are stuck in traffic. And you're so held in traffic that the ref vehicle has gone off gas and all that. And the medicines are deteriorating. And by the time you get there, the people are all gone because you didn't come on time or within the time that could have saved them. Traffic has killed people. That is how traffic can waste millions. You can ask Google now as we're talking, how much is wasted to traffic? How much waste per annum, okay, is incurred by Nigeria as a result of traffic delays? You will see it runs into its billions of naira. Goods that perish, medicines that are not usable, that are unusable at the time they get to destination, vehicles that are wasted, that gets knocked or accidented and all that as a result of traffic, the health of people that are affected as a result of traffic, all these things. Now let's come to local, like Collins was trying to explain. Do you know why the villagers, we say they are villagers, do you know why they are more nourished than those dwelling in the city? Do you know why sometimes they look fresher than those dwelling in the city? And you're saying, see people they send money to, they're fresh past me. They eat good food. Well, they may not find the food so often, but you know, they farm foods. And I'm telling you, 60% of the food farmed in these rural areas perish in the rural areas because there is hardly a transport link to link them to the cities. And if there are, they are, like you said, Collins, if they are too expensive to engage. Does anybody understand my argument?
Yes, you are following, sir.
So at the end of the day, it is on the government to ensure that this economic objective of the transport plan really, really works by encouraging sustainable local travels, not hindered by standstill traffic, not hindered, not discriminated by being too expensive or too luxurious for people to be able to engage. Not even too far from where people are, that are very accessible. I hope we understand the economy aspect of the objectives, encouraging, stimulating the economy. One thing you must do to stimulate the economy and to encourage economic growth with transport is to dismantle road congestion, tackle road congestions. Imagine let's not repeat ourselves. And I hope that is clear. You have the notes fully in your materials, and like I said, I have it here too. Somebody requested that I shared my material, I think over the email. I was very busy at that period. I also had papers to develop and submit and all that. And I've forgotten who did. I don't know if it's from this class or from somewhere else. But then, let's move on. Safety. Safety. Now, another national objective for transport is the achievement and maintenance of safety. Achievement and maintenance of safety. So, while we are trying to ensure that the environment is protected and all that, and while we're trying to ensure that the economy is also at its best, using the instrumentality of transport, we are also concentrating on the fact that there is need for goods and passengers to be safe at all times. Now, safety for goods, for passengers, or for animals, okay? Transport safety has gone beyond I left Lagos alive. I am in Uyo alive. It has gone beyond that. There could be attacks on the road. Your seat could be uncomfortable and your legs swollen. But the fact is that you arrived Uyo alive, safety. No, that's not safety. Safety, yes, it is safety rather, but it has gone beyond just considering that people arrive alive. They should arrive almost in the same form that they left their origin. They should arrive destination almost in the same form they left their origin. If not in the same form, almost in the same form. So the neatness, the freshness, the mental relaxation, everything, every how you left the origin, you should almost arrive destination the same way. That's where safety comes in. So vehicles now are being redesigned to ensure that the seats are as comfortable and as safe and as adjustable for people to be able to relax and, feel safe, feel well. Trains, they are doing the same thing to trains too. Public vehicles are doing the same thing too, where we know of the planes already. All right. So we are looking at safety from a very holistic angle, not just traveling and arriving alive. I hope you understand my take. Now, to ensure safety in transport, we have to maintain high standards of safety and security for passengers and freight. Continue to improve road safety. In some countries, we have road safety who don't concentrate on the road, but on the vehicles. And so we have a body ensuring good vehicles for very poor roads in some countries. All right. But then continuing, if we want to concentrate on safety, the roads must be safe. There should be no pothole that can make a car swerve off the road. Potholes, ditches on the road, and all that. There should be nothing like that. And then vehicles also must also go through their yearly certification or yearly whatever to be able to operate on the roads also. Safety. That's another objective. The next objective is accessibility. Accessibility. Now, accessibility is a topic we should look at in this course, but we can look at it here now. Let's just do everything about accessibility now before we go to integration. What is accessibility? Now, I would like to describe accessibility here as the ease. Please take note. It is the ease, how easy it is, okay? It is the ease uh, 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 to reach, the ease with which people can reach transport facilities or infrastructure. Accessibility is or represents the ease with which people can reach transport facilities and transport infrastructure. I hope my definition or my explanation makes a bit of sense. The ease with which you and I, with which people can reach transport facilities and transport infrastructure. That's accessibility. All right. So if I have transport facility, maybe I have the BRT terminal in Oshodi. There's this multi-national or multi-dimensional or what is it called now? Terminal in Oshodi. Okay. Now, yes, it is there. If I am not able to reach it, then I am denied accessibility. So the ease with which I can reach transport infrastructure or transport facility is what I call accessibility. Accessibility is one major thing that can either pass for this, that can showcase where we have transport discrimination or disenfranchisement. Some people are discriminated from using transport infrastructure or facilities, so they don't have accessibility. Look at the diagram you see there. You see a person on wheelchair. How many of our public vehicles make provision for wheelchair spaces? Very few. Transport discrimination. You are saying if the wheelchair owners don't have their private vehicles, they can go to wherever they want. It's their business. They should stay at home. Every public bus should have space where wheelchair owners can stay when they go in the bus. Well, wheelchair users, rather. Number two, how many of the public buses in your country do we see where the level of the bus aligns with the walk-in, with the terminal walkway? I hope somebody understand what I mean by level of the bus aligning with terminal walkway. You see that when the bus gets to the terminal and it stops to carry people, the level of it and the level of the terminal walkway is exactly the same. People can slide, you can slide in, this kind of children play where you slide on the ground on the ground and then and you stop somewhere. You can slide in from the terminal and slide into the bus. How many of such buses do we have? I'm saying that because in Lagos, we have such things. We have the BRT buses that when they stop in their terminal, the level of the entrance is same as the level of the terminal. At least I saw that one myself. But I don't think I saw spaces for wheelchairs. Maybe there are. Okay, so I said we're going to discuss accessibility on its own. Now, what are the factors that affect accessibility? What are the factors that affect accessibility? If you understand my definition for accessibility, that it is the ease with which people can reach transport infrastructure. I think it is the ease with which you can reach and use transport infrastructure and facilities. That's accessibility. The ease with which people can reach and use transport infrastructure and facilities. Now, what are the factors that would affect accessibility? Anybody, please? Factors that affect accessibility.
Sir, I think number one is good roads. And then number two is the availability of the infrastructures required for citizens.
Thank you very much, John. I will take number one to be availability of infrastructure. I will take your number two as my number one. Availability of if the transport infrastructure and facilities are not available, there's no accessibility then. Do you understand? If the bridges are not available, you understand? If the vehicles are not available, if the infrastructures are not available, then that's the first and very important factor that affects accessibility, availability of the infrastructure and facilities. Another one that you mentioned is good roads. I'll use good road networks. Is it clear now? Good road networks. That's clear connectivity of roads. Are there other factors that can affect accessibility? There are many more. Any other person? Okay, another thing that can affect accessibility is information. Now, there may be this infrastructure, but you don't know about them. What you don't know about, you cannot use. So information is one factor that affects accessibility. The availability of the infrastructure and facilities affect accessibility. The interconnectivity, connection between where you are and where these facilities are also affects accessibility. Um, 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 sex affects accessibility. Do you
So what do you say?
sex, male or
We don't
female?
understand. More explanation, sir.
I want to explain that now. Now, have you ever noticed in some areas where females are banned from vehicles, whether the vehicles that contain males, the females cannot use the vehicles that contain males, and the males cannot use the vehicles that contain females? Have you ever heard that before?
I think that time of Sharia law in the north.
The real law is still happening. It's still happening till this very minute in the north, in some part of the north. You understand? And so that is still operational till this very minute in some part of the north, where men and women cannot be in the same vehicle. That is a limitation of accessibility. If they had their power and the wherewithal, you see that men and women cannot even go to the same terminals. Do you understand? So sex can limit accessibility. Age can limit accessibility too. It's a factor that affects accessibility. Age. For the very old people and elderly people, you discover that you need certain level of accessibility. They need certain level of accessibility, compared to the young and, the young and the fiery-blooded people. And so you will see that in some very good countries, you will discover that the difference between one bus stop and the other bus stop is like 1 minute drive on major routes. The difference between one bus stop and the other bus stop is 60 seconds drive, which may be like 2 minutes walk or 3 minutes walk. Do you understand? So when an old person gets off a bus stop and needs to go back one bus stop, just needs to walk like 3-5 minutes and then it's there. That is not too much for an old person to walk. And then vehicles also that do not have uh, 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 special places for the vulnerable or the weak elderly, special seats for them, or do not have special seats for the pregnant. all those things can affect accessibility. I hope you understand, please. Is it clear, please?
Yes, yes, I follow. I don't know about others anyway. Let them answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let's move on to the next one, integration. By integration, we're talking about another national objective for transport or another objective that ensures that anything that is being done today in transport, okay, embraces what has been done before, okay? That is, whatever is being done today has room for what has been done before to be integrated into it. For instance, in Lagos, for instance, you would see the development of transport so far. When uh, Tinubu was there, all right, he created the BRT lanes and did so many things with transport. I'll just go with a bit of specifics. He created the BRT lane, but then the buses of the BRT buses were not aligning with the terminal, and it was just, shabby. But then he created the BRT. He brought BRT to work in Lagos. Around that period, shortly after he left being the governor of Lagos, I was in the UK shortly after then, and we're having a meeting with those that actually implemented that BRT thing in Lagos. I was in that meeting with a Professor Charles, I think, of LASU, my very big mentor, and some of the master's degree students then, and then CILT, the director general, the national executive director of CILT, Mr. Francis, we went together to have a transport tour of the UK. And then when we were seated with these people that implemented the Lagos State BRT thing, they showed us videos of their own BRT implementations across the UK. And I was angry because I knew I stayed in Lagos and I knew how shabby the job was in Lagos. When they finished their presentation and people were asking questions, angrily, I asked a question and I asked them, how come you are showing us these lovely pictures, lovely videos of your BRTs, of your buses, the ones you implemented, and see how your buses are aligning. See this, see that, see the control room, see how see the escape routes in case a bus breaks down and all that. How come we don't have all these things in Lagos? And they smiled, and one of them answered and said, yes, that the Lagos one was a work in progress, he said, because the then governor wanted it to be implemented in his time. So whether it was completed or not, implement it. I want it to be on record that it was in my time BRT started. And that was why we had that done, and I felt, oh, fine. And sincerely today, I have seen the improvement from what was back then to what is now. Today, like I said, the BRT buses align with the terminals. You can slide into the bus. and all that. The buses itself and all that. You know, Primaro in Lagos State now is now managing the buses for the government and all that, and everything is just going well with improvement. What I'm trying to say is that what they are doing now with the BRT accommodates what has been done before. What was done all the way from Tinubu. When Fashola came, Fashola introduced the tickets, your card tap in, tap out. I think it was Fashola that introduced tap in, tap out. And we're doing it on the, I think on the green, was it on the green BRT then or on the red BRT? Over time, when Ambode came, they brought in AC BRTs. Everything they are doing, nothing is like what Tinubu did, cancel it, let's do a new one. There's nothing like that. There is a development and an integration. That's what we're talking about, integration here. Everything that is done today should accommodate what has been done before. That's one thing I love Buhari for. He might not have done anything new, but he ensured to complete everything Jonathan started, almost everything Jonathan started. The rail that Jonathan started, he completed them. In his time, rail started working. The second Niger, is the second Niger bridge or whatever, he worked more, even if it was Jonathan that started it. There was this sense of continuity and integration, not abandonment because you want to create a name for yourself. You abandon what has been there before to go and do a new one for yourself. So integration in this case is doing things today that still accepts what has been done before. Is it clear now? While you still make room for improvement for the future. So here we see supporting the development of the market for electric and other ultra-emission vehicles, supporting the development of aviation, improving passenger experience at airports. Whatever we are doing now, when we're talking about electric vehicles, low emission vehicles and all that, there are vehicles already. We can only improve. Integration is about improvement, not abandonment and then restarting something again and all that. Does it make sense, please? Be clear to us.
Yes, I for me.
Are
Yes,
there
sir.
questions, please? Are there questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go on.
Yeah, this one is not a question, but under safety, there is also another area that I observed that safety can play a very major role in saving lives. It's very tough when you have emergency cases and there are no good accessible roads, and there are also congestions and a lot of traffic in an area. People might actually end up being passing on because of lack of quick accessibility to hospitals or places that are specialized to care for them. So in the area of safety also, I think that should be addressed. And also in case of emergencies like a house on fire, maybe some places that might be set ablaze because of electric bolt or whatever it is, for the firefighters to be able to reach such places in time might actually also help. But if there are inaccessible places, the safety of the people in the place and properties will not be assured.
Thank you very much. Yes, you have observed rightly. Our um uh our response, emergency response is at its lowest as we speak. Our emergency response at its lowest. I was traveling to my village many years ago with a friend that visited me from the United Kingdom then. Visited me, and then we're traveling to the village. And then just by that long bridge, that after the long bridge, between the long bridge that just immediately after Beggar, and before, I think before the Redeem Camp, so to speak, I think just between that area, there was a kind of accident, and a truck fell over with spilling all its goods, cartons and all that of goods, spilled all over and all that. And then it caused traffic. And then when we were passing by, when we finally got to the scene, my friend was looking everywhere, and I was wondering, what are you looking at? And just kept looking and kept looking and kept looking, and I was wondering, what's the matter? What are you doing? And the person told me, I can't see any police around. I can't see policemen. I can't see traffic, whatever. I can't see helicopters and all that. I said, for what? So there's an accident, of course. I say, leave that thing. Let's if we pass, let's just be moving. Now normally for such an accident, you will discover that the area is entirely cordoned off, and then quickly there is an emergency opening to connect that traffic to another route that will make them be going, as fast as they can go while that scene is being dealt with. Okay, so really we don't have that so much. We don't have it. We are still growing when it comes to emergency response. We don't have the expertise, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the space. We are running as if we are over-congested in Nigeria. We are not over-congested. We're running like all the land has been completely used up. It's not true. Not all the land is completely used up. We're running like everything we do must be cast on stone. No. There should be adjustments. There can be adjustments. We should make room for adjustments and for escapes. But we need, many of us in this class, to grow up to such positions where we can begin to add thinking to doing. We discovered just because one man stepped into the office of I don't know what the office is called, it just escaped me now. Is it national? What? And we discovered that the Nigerian passport can be done in 2 weeks. Yeah, there are itches. But you can actually have a passport in a month in Nigeria, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. And I'm telling you, my own experience was that I had it in less than 24 hours. I didn't pay anybody anything. I didn't pay anything. Can it ever be done in Nigeria? The answer is yes. But we should, as a people, should be ready to do it. Adebayo, for instance, has created a name for himself that what we think can never be done is being done. I don't know. I think that's his name, Adebayo. I hope that's one of his names. So safety, emergency response, and all that, we can do it. All we know about emergency response is ambulance now. And our ambulance, anytime we see ambulance, we know the person is dead. Many a times, I don't know what your notion about ambulance is. Maybe from childhood. My notion about ambulances from childhood was that it carries only dead persons. Not even those that are living. But in developed countries, ambulance carries Nobody even thinks of a dead man in an ambulance. Nobody thinks, if you see an ambulance, nobody, you don't even, death does not come to your mind in developed countries. And in the country, in Nigeria, you discover that people are dragging with ambulance. Hey, I know just a person even inside the ambulance, they just use inside it, the source will come up for them, and they go anywhere. We go all of this traffic.
So I think there is abuse of ambulance, as you have mentioned. I just discovered there was one time we were in the traffic and in Lagos, and there was just nobody. It was only a security personnel with one other person, and they were just with a silent, bam, 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 bam.
How do you
So
know there was nobody inside?
we were able to see them. The wind up, I was just walking by. So we were able to notice. So we now said, oh, so this is what is happening. So a minimum others will just be that their boss want to reach home early as they are close, either an army officer or any other general. So they just want to reach home early, and that's all. They will be blowing the ambulance. So I think there is an abuse of ambulance.
The ambulance I'm talking about is the one for the medicals, not for army or police. The medicals. Yeah, I know there's abuse, but then look, for us, if we want to be a reasonable country, let's allow the law, regardless of who abuses it. Who abuses it will be caught very soon, but let's allow the law. In developed countries, like whenever I'm driving in the UK, for instance, if I hear the ambulance, any vehicle at all, you park by the side, even if the ambulance is 2 minutes away from you, 3 minutes away from you, park by the side and allow the ambulance find its way and go. Because by law, the ambulance can damage your car and you will be liable. You will be responsible. So the ambulance is not always on BRT lanes or rapid. If it is on your own back, once it may be behind you and not having to raise the siren. Once it turns on its siren, you don't need to investigate. Is somebody there? Is someone? You move away from the road for it to pass. The same thing with police vehicles. The same thing. Any vehicle with siren, give way and not give way and be driving. Oh, give way, pause, let them pass before you continue driving. That is the discipline here. We can have the same discipline. The ones abusing it can be apprehended very soon. But then, what if they are not abusing it? What if somebody is actually dead and needs to get to the hospital as early as possible? What if there's a crime going on somewhere that the policemen need to reach as early as possible? By our own stupid stubbornness or by our own sheer selfish investigation, we may delay them and something untoward may happen. So it's important that we understand safety is not about government alone, it's all of us involved. But then I believe Nigeria is growing to that point. I've not seen where helicopter is used for safety. My cousin's son, my cousin's son was sick, and then we needed to call the ambulance. She needed to call the ambulance. The ambulance came immediately. In few minutes, the ambulance was at their house, picked him up, they took him to the hospital. While in the hospital, he was still not yielding and all that, and they needed to refer him to a children's hospital, a bigger hospital somewhere. An Airbus, an helicopter came to carry him to that other hospital. He's not paying a dime. Oh. This is free medical care. He's not paying a dime. He's alive today. He's fine. He's well.
That's awesome.
Really, it's awesome. I'm saying it because of the love I have for my own country, Nigeria, that we can get there. We're in a place where we stayed like 3 hours apart from a family, and he had a crisis. A visitor from Nigeria was there and he had a crisis, and she called us. So and so, something happening to so and so person, because she didn't know what to do. She's from Nigeria, she doesn't know anything. We that were 3 hours away from that person, there's no way we can start rushing before we get there. Anything could have happened. We called the ambulance, as we were talking to the ambulance, they say, okay, what's the house address? What's the room number? What area is it? What place is it? As we were talking on the phone, we heard that they were already knocking his door. As we were on the phone, they were already knocking his door. Is anybody in? We said, yes, there's an adult in. And then somebody go, okay, go open the door. Now the ambulance people, how they did it today, we don't know. And over time, I've heard on the radio, ambulances should not be less than 2 minutes away. Whenever you call, anytime you place a call, anywhere you are, an ambulance should be just maximum of 2 minutes away from you. Emergency response. Emergencies for safety reasons. The guy I'm talking about is alive today. It's fine. He was taken by the ambulance to the hospital. Sometimes you call the ambulance and they ask you, what is the matter? You tell them, can the person still speak? Yes, the person can speak. Please give the person the phone. What's happening? I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. If they know that it's not an ambulance situation, they will tell you, okay, do this and do that, and then call your doctor. They will not come. There are also doctors managing the ambulance services. They know what is for ambulances and what is not for. But once it is for an ambulance, they are there 2 minutes, no matter where you are. You can achieve that now. Ambulance is for big people in Nigeria today. Oh. It's for big people. A colleague of mine in Nigeria then, I was in church, they called me, she just had fire, whatever, and they rushed her to the hospital. The hospital cannot take care of her. They rejected her, and they had to call me back that the hospital said they can give us a bus to carry her to where they referred her, and I had to pay heavily for that bus. I don't know if it was an ambulance because I wasn't there, but I paid for them to be able to transport her to where they wanted to take her to. We eventually lost her. We eventually lost her. My very precious colleague. We can improve. We can grow. Today, houses are collapsing in Nigeria. Government will come and say, we've marked the house that everybody should vacate from there, and they refuse. And government is free by saying that. People are buried under the debris. People are dead. But using manual means to dig out people from the ground. Sometimes your tractor can even break people's bones. Let's not say too much about this. Let's move on. I don't know if you asked the question. I hope I have contributed to your concerns also, John.
No, Leji, we'll just have an observation and you really have elaborated some about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are questions, please ask me. We are already done with this topic. Like I said, you have the notes, okay? They are all there. They are all there. The notes are there. So on that safety, I asked, what's the difference between an incident and an accident? And what are the costs of an accident? Is there a difference between an incident and an accident, please? Hello, class. Is there a difference between an incident and an accident?
Yes, good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
Yes, go on, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, incidents, events, it could be an hazardous situation, could be a first aid case, it could be a near miss, while accidents are those that result in injury to persons or damage to property.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Say again. Did anybody say they didn't hear something?
Yeah, we heard him, sir.
Thank you. Anybody want to add anything to it?
Yes, incidents are, like he said, near misses, events that led to lead to accidents. Why accidents are mostly at the end of the day, we have injuries or fatalities, events that affect us. That way we have injuries or fatality.
Beautiful.
In addendum to that, sir, in the incident is a generic term. It can be an accident and it can be any other occurrence. But accident itself is a type of incident, just to be clear.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, like I said, if you have questions, please ask me. I'm waiting for your questions as we... Any question? Any questions, please?
No, from my end, sir.
From here to no questions, sir.
Okay. Okay, then to wrap up this, in summary, now listen to this, please. Listen to this. We're now looking at a summary of what we've been looking at, but then not completely the same thing. I need you to pay attention. Now, in summary, there are 5 goals we're looking at. 5 key goals and challenges of a transport strategy. Five key goals and challenges of a transport strategy. The first goal of a transport strategy is to support economic growth. To support economic growth. Now, one thing I'd like you to do is, I'd like to be asking, if we say to support economic growth, which objective does it match from the objectives we've looked at? Does that make sense? We're looking at strategies now, key goals of strategy. Now, I want to check which of the goals, which of the objectives do these goals match, okay? So, to support economic growth, which objective does it match, please?
The economic objective.
The economic objective, thank you. Does everybody understand what we are doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, number 2 is to reduce carbon emissions. Which goal does that match?
Environment.
Environment. Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Let's go on. Number 3, to promote equality of opportunity. Can anybody tell me which role that matches?
Accessibility.
Do we agree with that? Look at it well. If you have something different, tell us.
Accessibility.
Yes, accessibility.
Accessibility, fine. The next one is to contribute to better safety, security, and health. Which goal does that match?
Safety. Safety.
Do we agree with that?
Yes.
All right. And then lastly, to improve quality of life and a healthy natural environment. Which goal does that match?
Still environment.
Do we agree to that? Anybody
And
something different?
integration also.
You said?
Also integration.
Also integration.
Environment and integration, yes.
Okay.
Heritage.
Another person?
I think environment.
Both environment and integration, because I'm seeing heritage. Because I'm seeing heritage and landscape and seek solutions that deliver long-term environmental benefits. Long-term, meaning that it should accommodate integration into that, while it's also improving the natural environment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But listen, please, what I've looked at now, they are just goals, key goals, okay, of a transport strategy. The number 1 goal is to support the economic growth. Number 2 goal is to reduce carbon emission. Number 3 goal is to promote equality of opportunity. Number 4 is to contribute to better safety. Number 5 is to improve quality of life. Now, please take note, when you are asked national objective, we have 5 objectives, and that is the, what's the first objective, please?
Environment.
Environment, the second?
Economy.
Third?
Safety.
Safety.
The fourth?
Accessibility.
And the fifth?
Integration.
And you can see that for the goals now, it's like we are now explaining or expatiating on the objectives themselves. So please don't get confused. Okay. I won't give you your class activity today. I think we've looked at transport systems. Is there any question so far?
No question from our end. We believe that you are preparing for us towards the exam in terms of revision.
Yeah.
We wish that today you have some rest, because we also love to see you more. That's all we have.
Thank you very much. I'll just go through this. This is part of this last one we want to do now is part of your revision, but I'll go through it just now before I let you go. Or maybe go for a short break. Yeah, I know I'm trying to get myself, but then I also know that your exam is in July, 9th of July. I hope you've seen your timetable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I believe there's no shaking anyways, no shaking. I know. Did you get past questions at all to prepare for your exams?
That's a shaking.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not yet. Not yet. I think they are working towards that, but not yet.
Please drop in your ask Mr. Gabriel for past questions. I think he's working towards it though. But then we're also going to send you mock examinations, okay? So I would love to get your past questions, look at them and see the questions that will be shaking you, understand those questions and where they fall, where the answers fall in your materials. And then we can then look at um, your mock exams afterwards and your final revisions.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we'll look at transport projects now. I don't know if I should give you a 10 minutes break before we come back for this, before do you want to stretch your legs for 10 minutes or for 5 minutes? Which one?
So even if it's 5 minutes, we can ease ourselves, please.
All right, so let's be back by 12:30 and then we can continue with this, please. All right, you have just 5 minutes, stretch your legs, take water, and then we'll be back to continue with transport projects.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we all back now?
Yes, sir, we're back.
All right. Can you all still see my slides, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I can see your slide.
All right. Let's quickly look at transport projects. Because of the time, I'm trying to see how far we can go winding up, so we'll have more time for our revisions. Now, we all have seen transport projects one way or the other. Many of us have seen construction of bridges happening, construction of roads happening, modification of roundabouts happening, construction of terminals happening, building of terminal offices. So we've seen different transport projects in our lifetime. And as I speak, I'm sure that there may be one transport project or the other going around you, whether they're repairing the roads, or they're constructing new roads, or they're building bridges, or they're doing one thing or the other, and it's all connected to transport. All right. So transport project is defined or expressed as the construction of new infrastructure or even the modification of old ones. Please take note. A transport project is defined or expressed as the construction of new infrastructure, and like I said, or the modification of old ones. And this process includes expenditures, actions, and policies designed to achieve a country's specific goal for both economic and social development within a specified period of time. A long definition, but then I'm sure you understand it and you can put it down. Number one, I said a transport project is defined as the construction of new infrastructure or the modification of old ones. Okay? And that the process involves expenditure, actions, and policy designs. And the purpose is to achieve the country's specific goals. You can just say to achieve a country's economic and social development goals. Do you understand? It's as easy as that. So when you see constructions going on, they are all what we call transport projects. All right, transport projects. If you see modification, they are called transport projects. And all those projects involve expenditure, involve actions, involve policy designs and all that. And the purpose of it is to achieve the country's economic and social development goals. I hope it is clear. Now, environmental impact of transport projects. What are the environmental impacts of transport projects? Okay. Now look at what we have there and tell me if there's anyone you think I should explain. Remember, the question is, or the subtopic is environmental impacts of transport projects. We have the noise pollution. We have the air pollution. We have property demolition. We have visual intrusion. We have congestion. Environmental impact of transport project. But can anybody tell me anything about the list we have? Can anybody tell me something about this list? Do we understand why they are called impacts of transport project? And is there anything off about the list?
I think all these are impacts relating to whenever a transportation project is going on. That is some things that might come up, some negative effects that we might see as a result of transportation projects.
Mm-hmm.
such as noise pollution, air pollution, property demolition, visual intrusion, congestion. These are factors or things that we see that will be as a result, that will come up as a result of transportation projects.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Collins. That's a beautiful one. But then have you all noticed that they are all negative? Are there no positive effects or positive impact of transport projects?
Yeah,
Mention the same thing
there are,
when Collins. Okay.
Collins, you said what?
yes, there are positive side of it.
Can we mention like one or two positive effects so we can put it there, positive impacts?
Like
If I say impacts, we should be able to mention, if I say impacts,
influx,
we should be able to mention positive and negative, right?
yes.
Yes, go on. Any positive impact? Should I mention one?
I want to mention one, but I don't have a word to put it. Like we
Yeah,
mentioned
put
one
it in
earlier
Yoruba.
about
Put it
how
in Yoruba.
maybe I'll say it saves lives. You know, possibly when there's an accident, like we mentioned, if the road is properly structured, there is probably a bypass to nearby hospitals or safe spots.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what word to now.
Yeah, you can put it there that you can put it there. Now uh uh well, I think I can use something like um uh
Safety.
yeah, if we
And
put it,
also,
and then we are
I
able
want
to explain it that way, it's fine. But I was even looking at something like a proper emergency management systems also, but still to boil down to safety. So we can put it safety and then explain it that way, okay? That modifications to the roads and all that can help to improve safety. Do you understand? Collins, you want to say something?
So how about when people are it brings about more persons, increase in number of persons in a place where the transportation project is
Yeah,
going on
development, it brings about development in an area,
in
okay?
an area. Yeah.
Yeah, it brings about development. It also stimulates economic activities, right?
Economic activities, yeah.
That's where you see where they are selling one bottle of water for 500 instead of the normal 100 or 200.
Sure, very
Yeah,
sure.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to, okay, I can make sense from all the five factors labeled here, but that visual intrusion, I'm still trying to make sense. I don't really,
Yeah,
the visual intrusion.
if you've seen a proper site where they are constructing this thing, you see that there are heavy duty trucks and all that, okay? And then there are also barricades, like secure areas, cordoning of areas, and you cannot see through to the other side. Do you understand? You cannot see through. You don't know what is happening on the other side. The trucks are either
Okay,
blocking you or the
okay,
vehicles
it
are
makes
blocking.
sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if once you cannot see through, I had a very bad experience of that many, many years ago. I was still working in CILT at Ikoyi, and I think I took a BRT to work that day. I I stopped at what was this thing called? TBS, and I was taking a walk to Awolowo Road to where my office is. Just by that military hospital, I saw a small girl. She was not too close to me. She was far from me, but we're at the middle side of the road. The road on this side and the road on the other side, but at the middle pavement, we're looking at crossing. The girl saw a bus on the side of our road, the side closest to us, the lane closest to us. There was a big bus coming. She did not see, because she was a small girl, she did not see the other side of the bus, that there was another small vehicle coming by the other side, that's the other lane. So she thought it was only that bus she had to deal with. Me, I was taller. I had seen the other small vehicle. She suffered that visual intrusion by that big bus that was on her side. So she thought that was the only thing she had to deal with. And because the bus was far from her, she decided to run across the road. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. Immediately she attempted to run across the road, the other smaller car on the other lane hit her, and I just had this scream. I didn't turn back. I couldn't turn back because right from time I have never been built for such emergencies to see blood. I just don't know. I didn't know what to do, but I was happy that people immediately started rushing towards her. I was already walking away before she crossed. Yes, I was walking on that middle pavement because I could walk down to maybe the police post. There's a police post or boat club. I could walk down to the boat club before I cross. So she was standing by the military hospital side wanting to cross. And when I heard the scream, I said, God, I couldn't turn to look. But I was happy people rushed to her. I don't know if she got saved or whatever, but that is how terrible visual intrusions can be. When you are driving too, have you not noticed it sometime? You want to overtake, or you want to do one thing or the other. You don't know that the vehicle you're seeing, the truck you're seeing, is not just the only vehicle you have to deal with. There's somebody else coming from somewhere, or there's a bike somewhere, or there is a vehicle somewhere. Visual intrusion is very, very terrible in transport. We must note it that way. I hope it is clear.
Yeah, very clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So these are all impacts of environmental impacts of transport projects. Okay, we've added some more, so please take note. But please exhaust the negative ones first before you begin to look for positive. Don't go and start putting only positive. You know, when we say impact, most of the time our mind goes to first negative. I hope that's clear. I hope that is clear, please.
Yes, it is. It's clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's move on. Now, look at them. Each of them, property demolition, the implication of property demolition. Okay. Number one, the implication of property demolition will be loss of lives and property. Property is already gone, it's already demolished. So property is gone. But can property demolition lead to loss of lives? Yes or no? Chorus.
Yes.
I agree it is yes. So I believe we understand why. People can kill themselves. You understand? People can die inside. People that feel their livelihood is gone can feel they want to end it up since there's nothing to live for. Number two, psychological trauma. I believe we agree with that. Displacement of life. If there's anyone you don't agree with, please stop me and just ask. Displacement of lives. Yeah. Costs. I believe we agree. And then, in short, please unmute and be telling me yes, yes, yes for the ones you agree. And if you don't agree with some, just say no. Listen,
I don't agree with kill self-esteem. I
please.
don't know how it applies.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, can anybody explain how kills self-esteem applies to one of the implications to property demolition?
Yes, it keeps self-esteem in the sense that a homeless person, it can render someone homeless. Maybe now you are living, you are squatting, or maybe you are staying in a public facility. Instead of you that has a house of your own before, but along the line, because of transportation, the project, it was destroyed, it was demolished. Now you have no house over your head. In such situation, the person can lose self-esteem to the point of even going suicide.
Yeah, thank you.
So it can lead to that.
Thank you. Have you ever heard people say, may God not let us be former champions? I had it before. I get on before, no be property.
It's old taker now.
You say what?
Old taker.
Old taker.
Yes, that's it. Current
Okay,
word
that,
used by Gen Z.
Your case too.
Hello?
That's the
okay,
current words now
That
for I get them before, maybe property.
okay, old taker, now they call them now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And this too.
Old taker, OLD, then
yeah, take a
Taker,
TR.
yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
How does it apply?
Uh,
get them before now. You know, get them again. It be your taker. They are new taker.
It don't be new taker, current takers day, old takers day. Okay, okay. Sorry, sometimes sometimes I reason I think very very much to be able to understand the Gen Z and the Gen whatever slangs now. Okay, old takers. Now really it can lead to it can kill self-esteem. Facial, do you understand now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank
It
you for
does.
the old taker thing. I've learned a new one too.
They taught me too. We have both learned a new word. All right, so really it does. Okay, let's move on now. Visual intrusion. Uh well, I want to see these as either the implications, okay, or how, or either the implications, the effects, and all that for visual intrusion. Number one, loss of sight. Now, it's not like going blind, but it's like sometimes being temporarily blind to what is important. Doctor, I don't know if he's a prophet, he's a doctor, Dr. Taiwo Salam, the former permanent secretary to the Ministry of Transport in Lagos, was one of my lecturers many years ago, decades ago, when I was doing my transport, my master's in transport planning. Now, I don't know if he told us of a man, whether his own uncle or a man or somebody else's uncle, that lost his life through visual intrusion also. The man was driving behind a truck, and this truck was emitting a very thick black, what is it called now? Emission, fume. And then this it was so thick and black that the buses behind cannot see through the smoke. Do you understand? So while he was following that man behind, trying to feel that he knows the road, he was managing, to go and all that. He didn't know that somewhere along the road, one of these poles of ions have bent somehow into the road. And then while he was driving, uh, 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 because he could not see the front, he drove into the iron, because the iron had bent into the road. And that was how the iron went through his windscreen and pierced his head or something and all that. That led to the death of that person. Uh, Visual intrusion is a loss of sight. So when you're driving in the rain, it is better to on your double pointer lights and also slow down. Rain reduces your visibility. When you're driving where there is heavy smoke and all that, it reduces visibility. When you're driving where there's too much dust, and whenever you see that your visibility is reduced, please take precautions. Turn on your double pointer lights and begin to drive just with the pace that you know you can control. So number one, loss of sight. Number two, exposure to dust. That can also affect sight and even affect the breathing too. Number three, it will always lead to the effect inside. One can be prone to accidents. And if there's this exposure to dust all the time and smoke and all that, it could also lead to eye defects. I believe we all agree with those ones. For traffic congestion, we have longer travel distance. When you have a go slow, your travel time becomes longer. Okay, so I think it should be longer travel time. Not even because distance remains the same, but traffic just makes the travel time longer. Do you agree with me, please?
Very
Yeah.
correct.
All right. Another one is stress and fatigue, anxiety, delay at terminals, health issues. Okay, health issues. Can anybody explain how health issues apply to traffic congestion?
In case there's an emergency and there's traffic, like the one that happened that was last month, where Lagos State government was repairing the road. If there was an emergency at that time, I'm not sure the person will be able to make it because it was a standstill for almost 12 hours. So if there's a road construction or something like that, I don't know if there's a way there can be an emergency lane for emergency cars or for emergency buses to go through so that there will not be loss of life and
Beautiful. I want to take
Yes,
that. I
traffic
don't
congestion.
go on.
So just an input now. We have some persons that do vomit whenever they are going on a long journey, especially when they are in a situation where they have a congestion.
Yes, travel sickness, right?
Travel sickness. And also, besides that, in a dusty environment, and you have a congestion, there could also be asthmatic individuals, people that are very sensitive to certain environment, especially in a congested environment. Health issues might arise from such a situation. So, and also maybe if there are complications like that, there could be a situation whereby emergency response will become very difficult to execute, to implement in that situation. So these are all related to traffic congestion.
Yeah, beautiful. I like to the one that the earlier speaker, sorry, I didn't pick your name, mentioned of maybe there's people um not being able to make it if they fall sick in such. I think we could call that loss. Okay, loss of life, loss of property. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I think the one that Collins just mentioned is closer to the health issues, which is fine. Also, another thing about health issues with traffic is, if you remember when we were discussing it earlier in this class, or many lessons ago, we talked about when people are in traffic, for instance, they inhale the combustibles from vehicles, they inhale dust also and all that. It affects their lungs,
Respiratory system.
yes, and all that. So that's also health issues also. Some of them, all these kind of fumes settling from the air on their body, dropping particulate matters on their body. And this particulate matter, if many people that get home at night after heavy traffic and they're too tired or too weak to have a bath, they just sleep off, wake up the next morning and think all is okay. Some kind of things have dropped on your skin that you need to wash off, because if particulate matter continues to fester on the skin of people, it can even lead to skin diseases and even cancer. Okay, so those are health issues also connected to traffic congestion. Okay, so we are all perfectly correct. Let's move on. Remember, we are picking the impacts of transport projects one after the other, right? So you can see all these answers are connected, so you don't make mistakes during the exams. Be very specific what you want to do and know what answers what you want to do. All right, so that is it for the class for today. I'm sorry I may not be able to go further. All right, but that's it for today. We will meet the next class. I think we have just one or two more topics to go with transport projects. Before then, I'm sure by next month, by early next month, you begin to get your mock exams coming to you. And then you begin to see them and see how some of those questions are addressed, okay? After then, we can then meet for other revisions. Do we understand? Do we understand, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are there questions before?
I don't know. Can you share with us this material, sir?
I think I should do that because it's high time I did that. I will see if I can send it to you to the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Thank you
Well,
very much.
to Mr. Gabriel to send it to you guys.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Any question before we call it a day, please? All right then. All right then. You guys have a very great weekend.
You too, sir.
Take care, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye everyone.